Hey friends, my name is Brandon Morrow and I get to serve as the lead pastor. And I just want to give you just a quick update on the times and the days that we're in. And so this update will serve as an update for both Good News and Crossroads. And so I'm sure you've probably heard times they are a-changing. And it looks like they're almost changing just every day. And so we wanted to let you in on the process that we will be using. And we want to use this video as an opportunity to cast a little vision about what the future may look like for our congregations. And so we've identified 4 steps or phases that we will utilize as a church going forward. And these will help us plan our new life ahead. So I want you to think about these steps as either phases or segments or sequences, and they're really just to help to determine the conversations that our church will use going forward. And so one of the realities that we're just going to have to wrestle with is that it's not going to be overnight until we get to what was. And just the sheer fact of this is we may never return fully to what was. It may be a new difference, a new and exciting future in which Jesus will fully be present. So our mission as a church is to join Jesus in his work of renewal. And I believe that Jesus is doing a new thing. And I think we're blessed to be a part of it. So here's the first step. Step 1 is where we currently are. And it means that we're only at online-only gatherings. So we are continuing online-only gatherings through the month of May, and hopefully towards the end of May, we'll have more information to show you what kind of June and July and maybe the rest of the summer can look like. And so we're just going to keep doing what we're doing online. We believe our team is putting in a lot of hard work. When you see Brendan, you can give him a high five whenever you get that chance. Social distancing first, though. So we're not going to move to any in-person gatherings of any size until we have the clearance to do so. And so we want to make a choice that's the best choice for our community, and we want to do so when we've received nods of approval from local health professionals. And so there's just no date for what we have in mind on this, and the reason for that is because nobody has a date in mind. So our leadership is receiving information at the same rate as the general public. And so we're making necessary plans and provisions for when that information becomes available. Okay, step 2. As federal, state, and local governments provide recommendation for us to do so, we will begin to innovate towards smaller grouped gatherings. So I expect this to become a reality, and that likely they'll just say that there's an opportunity for gatherings of 50 or under. We're not going to go back immediately to large group gatherings. And so we are in the beginning stages of planning for modified gatherings that will include guidelines for cleanliness and will also equip others for leadership. So whatever the size gathering will look like, it will match our church's philosophy of ministry and will aid us in equipping the church for discipleship. So in addition to these smaller groups, we will also hold our just online service for those who are unable to join in person with others. Here's step 3 for us. It would be unwise for the church to rush into gathering of 50 people or less. And so, as we talked about step 2, we're not going to jump right away into 50 or plus gatherings or 50 or under. Step 2 will likely be smaller groupings of people and families. And so the next step we envision is the ability to add more people and our neighbors to these 50 or under size gatherings. So for us to add more people, it will require that we are free from social distancing guidelines, but we will still adhere to strict cleanliness guidelines for gatherings of those size. We will also provide online gatherings for those whom otherwise shouldn't be exposed to large groups of people. Step 4. We know that at some point we're going to return to some degree or some shape or form of a large group gathering. And we know that there will be different things that are going to be lifted, whether that be social distancing or other measures that are put in place. So this is really the last step in our process. And I'm sure we're going to continue to add more safety guidelines. And I can envision that for a season, our church will meet in a different way than it ever has been. For example, I can envision a time or a period in which we won't offer coffee, in which we would dramatically change or not offer our nursery or children's programming. We're not going to have a greeting time before or after the service. We're going to usher people in and usher people out. And that might just be a reality for some short period of time as we move back into large group gatherings. And so, like all of our steps, we don't have any dates for these things. We don't know when these dates or when these steps are going to be available. It could be sooner rather than later, but honestly, we're planning for later. So I want to use a portion of this video to address some questions that have come up during this time. The first question that's come up many times is, what about meeting at the tabernacle or another outdoor location? Just so you know, we are working closely with John Posley, who's the executive director of the Okoboji Bible Conference, and we are working closely on how to make the best decision concerning the usage of the tabernacle. While we have not yet come to a final decision concerning the tabernacle, we are currently not planning to meet there this summer unless something drastically changes in Northwest Iowa. And so we're going to make those decisions with both our leadership and the leadership of the Bible Conference. We do function independently. And so even if we think we're going to go ahead and meet and the Bible Conference says no, we're still not going to meet there. So that's important information for us to know. So you could be praying for John and the board that seeks to provide leadership for the Bible Conference as they make difficult decisions for a wide-ranging group of people. And so the other concern about outdoor opportunities or even at the tabernacle is really concerning families with small and mobile children and how to keep them at an appropriate safe distance if we do have to keep social distancing guidelines. I'll just tell you about our own kids. Our children do not believe in social distancing measures. And while that is just a jest, our kids love being in close proximity to others. Even no matter how much we plead with them about it. So we want to keep our community safe, and our leadership refuses to let a church's witness turn into a source of a viral outbreak. So we're going to contain sickness and virus where it belongs and not out into the general public. We're going to maintain our church's gospel witness as we stand a light into darkness, and we're going to be a city set on a hill. And we're not going to make rash or irrational or illogical or immediate decisions. Next question that's come up is this. What about having ticketed church services? Our leadership and our staff are making no plans for holding ticketed church services. While we do respect the decisions of other churches who might be making similar plans, the fact is we're just driven by different convictions. So for example, we would opt for smaller gatherings where discipleship is emphasized over holding ticketed services. In addition to that, the logistics of individuals, families, volunteers, and sanitation for ticketed services would prove to be massive. Another question that's come up is this. Why don't you have any dates for any of these plans? That's a great question. We can't give you any dates because we don't have them. Our leaders aren't sitting idly by, but instead we're making plans and preparations now for when decisions are made. And so those decisions will be acted upon as they affect our congregations. So we want you to be encouraged about the opportunities in front of us as we make disciples, as we innovate, and as we lead our community. But most importantly, as we grow closer to Jesus, are obedient to the promptings of the Spirit. So we just want to say thank you. Thank you for partnering with us, and thank you for partnering with Jesus as you join him in his work of renewal. Thanks.